Got some dark eyes or dark bags under those eyes, which makes me question, are you suffering from sleep deprivation or perhaps insomnia? That's our medical topic today with our multimedia health specialist, Dr. Darren Green, who joins us. Always good to see you, sir. How are you?
Fantastic.
You're always so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. You don't suffer from sleep deprivation, do you?
No, not really, but the long hours sometimes in the ER catch up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about that, and so we're also taking your calls if you might have any questions regarding this topic. The number is 083-913-3728. I think first up we need to ask, what are the primary causes of insomnia? Because I've been suffering from a lack of sleep recently, in the past 2 weeks. I'm actually very, very serious. I can't sleep before 11 o'clock,
yes.
And then even then, it's not peaceful sleep.
Yes.
What are the causes?
People have difficulty in two main phases. The first phase is difficulty initiating sleep. In other words, you lay there, you ponder, your thoughts run wild, and you feel restless because you can't fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then you have people that actually have no problem falling asleep because they're so exhausted, whether it's 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, they pass out, but they wake up every single morning at the early hours of the morning, at 2 or 3. That is maintenance of sleep or sustaining the sleep.
Okay.
And obviously the causes range from what they used to describe as primary insomnias, where there's actually a genetic component and it runs in family lines from baby days where your mom and dad struggled with sleep.
Okay.
And then obviously secondary insomnias, which are due to medical causes as well. And the most common causes there are hormone imbalances.
Yes.
So things like your sex-producing hormones are important, thyroid glands important, cortisol, adrenaline. And when I mention those things, obviously, chronic stress and stresses in our lifestyles come to play immediately.
Whew.
The human brain's designed to survive. So, in other words, the 3 A's, awakeness, alertness, and arousal, ensure our survival, that we identify threats early in our lives.
Yes.
So sleeping is not really part of being vigilant and awake to identify those things.
Wow.
But when we try and prevent those threats harming us, we actually secrete adrenaline and cortisol,
yes,
which don't make you sleep. They keep you awake.
And alert.
And alert.
And alive.
So chronic stress keeps you certainly a lot more awake, alert, and aroused.
So what happens then if you think you may be suffering from insomnia, whether secondary or primary? What treatment options are available?
I think firstly, it depends if it's mild or moderate, and how you decide that is look at how many nights a week are you not sleeping properly.
Yes.
Mild would be maybe 1 or 2 nights a week. Moderate would be more than 3 or 4, and then severe would be where your functioning in the daytime is actually impaired. In other words, you struggle staying awake to do your normal tasks. You find yourself excessively sleepy in the day, which we call daytime somnolence. And that can be as a result of many different causes, but the big one being snoring and obstructive sleep apnea. And that's often one of the most misdiagnoses when it comes to insomnia and also sleeping disturbance.
Yeah.
That's when your airway becomes a bit flaccid, the muscles relax, especially after a glass of red wine, and the airway becomes partially obstructed, and then you snore loudly. You then drop your saturation of oxygen in the blood, and the brain wakes up feeling more tired than it did when you went to bed.
Who would have thought that sleep could be so complicated? Okay, we've got Linnell on the line. Good morning, Linnell, and how are you?
Good morning. First of all, I love you people. I love your program. I watched every morning.
Thank you very much,
I just want to know, I've got sleep apnea. I've got the machine. But I want to know, the doctor said I can't take any like a sleeping pill or painkillers before I use the machine at night. So I want to know, my throat gets really dry and my nose. Is there something that I can use?
Indeed.
For that?
Yes, thanks for the question. She's using what's called a CPAP device, which creates positive airway pressure to keep the airway open while you sleep. And it actually stops the snoring, so the partners and the sleeping partners love it, because their partners then can sleep without noise.
Peacefully, yes.
So the drying out occurs because it blows air into your nose and mouth. It's a mask that fits over the nose area in a triangle on the mouth, for example.
Yes.
You look like you're in the cockpit of a fighting plane, basically, with this head device.
Great picture, great imagery.
So it dries out the membranes.
Yes.
So what you can do is get a humidifying device that they add to your CPAP machine, which then moisturizes the membranes as you sleep. Also, along with that, to use daily products that moisturize the lining of your nose. I know there are a lot of salt water or saline preparations that you can spray up the nose. And then, of course, things like chamomile tea that's combined with those salt preparations. We found very useful.
Yes. Linnell, thank you very much for your question. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Continue.
Enjoy your day, and thanks for a wonderful program.
Thank you, Linnell, and have a wonderful day too. We'll continue taking calls on 083-913-3728, talking about insomnia and how we can help you, talking about possible treatment options, because I need some help, Doug. I need some help.
Indeed.
All right, well, let's take a break. We'll be right back.